not quite on the level of, like, retard as we would say now. It was more along the lines of, like, I don't even know if there is an equivalent anymore.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it was like it was, I mean, it's just, yeah, it's what you would, it was a slang term for people with Down syndrome.
Right.
Yeah.
I know this, my aunt has Down syndrome,
Mm-hmm.
that's why, because then when she was born, that's what they called her.
Yeah.
70s.
Yeah.
So he's washing their van. The old man is, you should come in and have some barbecue. And
yeah, that's the thing.
We don't, but it's also, we don't have any gas. I'm like, you're like,
we don't have any
station.
gas. Well, no, he does say, like, there's, like, we don't have any gas. And, like,
put up a sign.
You would think. And then he just sort of goes, well, the guy's supposed to, and this is the funny part that I find that I'm like, oh, he's clearly just setting them up, because he just goes, I don't know when the truck's coming. It could be later on today, or it could be tomorrow morning, for all I know. And then the girls fuck off to go get a Coke or go to the bathroom or something.
Both.
And then he's just like, and then, you know, the guy's cleaning the windshield and not doing a very good job of it. And I'm like,
Not just splashy.
yeah, it's just like, it looks kind of shitty, man. Have him do it again. It's part of his job, I guess. Although I guess he's not getting paid for it, so maybe not.
Yeah.
But anyway, so then he's just like, well, why don't you come in? We got some great barbecue. You'll have that, and he'll be here in a minute. I'm like, you just fucking said you didn't know. What the hell, dude? And then they have a conversation. Franklin still can't get over his shit. So,
yeah, Frank and Kirk have a conversation of just what happened. And
well, then he has I can't remember, I don't know their names all that well. Matthew McConaughey.
Kirk.
Or was it Kirk?
Yeah.
No, it was the other one.
Frank,
there you go.
Franklin.
Not Franklin, the other guy.
Oh, Jerry.
So Jerry's just like, well, we should ask him if there's another gas station. And Kirk's like, well, don't you think you'd have told us? And I'm like, no.
No, because he's competing. He wants you to stay here and wait for the truck to come in.
So he's just like, fuck it, I'll tell him. Or
I'll go get some barbecue.
So he gets no, he doesn't even say he's getting the barbecue yet.
Oh, right.
He literally is just like, I'm going to go ask him.
Barbecue.
He does come back with the smallest bag of barbecue. I'm like,
yeah,
that's not feeding anyone.
There's 5 of you there.
Yeah.
There's a little old bag.
And one of you is heavy.
Yeah.
Like, Franklin's a fat dude. Like, that's just how that works.
Now, granted, I think they're just wings or whatever.
No, because Franklin's eating what looks like a sausage, which is not barbecue, so I don't know why that is. But all right, whatever.
Yeah.
Although I guess the barbecue
you can smoke the sausage.
You can, and the sauce marinated in the sauce. I guess you could, but it's not usually how it's done. Like when you think of barbecue, it's mostly like pulled pork and shit like that.
Chicken, beef.
Yeah, this is not really quite that way.
So they're driving to the old house.
Yeah.
Or just conversation. I think it's more astrology talk.
It is. They go back to astrology because it's like, and then Franklin's still asking about the guy, being like, "Do you think he's going to come after me?" You know, and he asked at one point, he's like, "You know, how much does that take for you to do that, to cut yourself like that?" You know.
Well, that's the thing. Like when him and Kirk are talking in the car, just like, what do you think it takes for a person to just do that?
Yeah,
he didn't even hesitate.
He's really not cool with the whole thing.
Because I guess he was just trying to get into the, first off, you're not going to get into the mind and the psyche of someone that can do that, Franklin. But I get why. Because it's just like it tripped him out, going like, because he just grabbed it and went for it. Mm-hmm. Like just went for his hand. Like didn't even like.
Yeah, like he really can't get over this, and it's like, yeah, he's also the same guy who was the killer in a fucking a slaughterhouse. It takes a certain kind of person to do that.
Yep. So they get to the house, and everyone gets to the house quickly because they have 2 working legs.
Yep.
Franklin has to push himself through the bush and through the trees.
He's
and
having
the grass.
trouble with the whole thing.
And I'm like, guys, somebody should have.
Why didn't anyone think of him?
Yeah.
Because weirdly enough, they were very considerate of him before that.
Yeah.
But now they're not.
Get to the house, you're on your own, Frankie.
Yeah,
you know?
like, fuck you, we're checking at the house. See ya, buddy.
So they're all running around the house like fucking kids.
Like children. And I'm like...
laughing and giggling.
Yeah, I'm like, you're at least college age. You're like at least 17, 18. You wouldn't do that, but
Franklin
whatever.
also has a fucking conniption.
Franklin's pissed.
He's just like...
yeah, like he's fucking...
he's gone. He's...
Well, this is where he's like, because
it took him a lot just to get it to the house.
Yeah.
And he's cut himself.
And no one's answering him.
And no one's answering him, and nobody cares about Franklin.
And he's just like, yeah, come for the ride with us, Franklin, if you get time. And I'm like, and again, this goes to my whole point of like, why is no one looking after him when you wanted him here?
Yeah, especially you. Sister's here.
Yeah.
I get the other
if there's
hats,
anyone who's going to think, you know?
It's
such a weird moment, but he's just like,
so he finds some bones on the floor and above.
And he's like, well, this is fucked up.
Like, why is it in a pile, and why does it look like it's been hung purposely?
Like, this doesn't seem good, but okay.
So he goes around the corner, Kirk and Pam rock down the stairs, asking where the creek was.
Because he was mentioning that they could all go swimming.
Because they want to go to the swimming hole, a.k.a. they want to fuck.
Yeah, basically.
So he tells them...
So, in between those two sheds. So they're like, all right, we'll go by ourselves.
Yep, see you, Franklin.
That's an awkward way to do that.
We'll be back in a couple hours.
Yeah.
They find the creek. No creek.
Yep, there's no creek. Creek's dried up. Yep. Well, fuck that.
Also, they're just like, how did Franklin get down here?
Yeah, they're just
now you're considering the man in the wheelchair.
Well, it's true. I mean, they do. You would think that. And they're just like, well, he was, they probably had someone carry. He was smaller then. I think that's a good point.
So they find a house. They see gas. They're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like, well, we need gas. They've got a generator, so gas.
Yeah, we'll go.
So let's go check it out.
Little knocky.
No one answer. Hello. And then they knock a couple more times and the door just opens. And I'm like, well, I'm not going in that house.
Yes, especially because a tooth pops out.
Yep, and then he uses it to
freak his girlfriend
freak the girlfriend out. And I'm like, hey,
here you go, Pam.
Hey, buddy. And she's just like, well, screw you. And she walks off to go sit on the chair there. They've got a swing. And I'm just like, you found a severed human tooth and you're going to walk in the house. Okay.
Walks in the house.
He starts hearing noises.
Hears noises.
He's like, hello, hello, hello.
I think there's a huge metal door there.
Mm-hmm.
It swings open.
Leatherface.
Leatherface, bitch!
And then fucking hammer to the head.
Which I like.
It is such a good shot.
First off, it's a good shot. And secondly, it's a callback.
Yes.
Because they're talking about how they originally used to slaughter animals.
Well, the whole movie is a callback to it, because the whole thing is a slaughterhouse.
So he hits him over the head a couple times, and the sound effect of
sound
just the thud of him hitting him with the hammer, the sound of him hitting the floor, the sound of him
shake. The shake.
Yeah.
His body is shaking like he's going into shock. It's so fucking good because he's not dead yet.
He gets pulled into the room, and the sound of the metal door just
slam. Which, by the way,
shut.
Gunnar Hansen and Andrew Bernarski, who played Leatherface in the 2003 remake, were apparently cool with each other until a certain point where basically Gunnar Hansen kind of was just calling him a bitch. And they never made up because basically there's a thing on the one of the DVDs that came out that shows Gunnar Hansen, who unfortunately has passed away. He talks about the slamming of the door. That scene, because that is in both versions. Mm-hmm. And he's like, here's Andrew Bernarski slamming the door. And he slowly, painfully pulls it over, and it's very slow. And he just goes, now here's me slamming the door. And he slams it shut. So apparently just calling him a bitch the whole time. And then, unfortunately, when Gunnar Hansen passed away, all Andrew Bernarski tweeted was boo-hoo. Oh. That is fucked up.
Listen, I get it. Hey, he fucking insulted your performance.
Yeah.
But to be fair,
he started it.
That's him. Mm-hmm. You're making him.
Mm-hmm.
And if he doesn't think you did a good job, he's allowed to say that. You're allowed to disagree with him. Mr. Hansen, sir, I disagree with your analysis of my performance. Mm-hmm. But he's still allowed to make said criticism.
And to be fair,
also, he's right.
Yeah.
That's also the thing. I mean, in this movie, him slamming it shut.
Yeah, it was fucking messed up.
That's what you would do. You wouldn't fucking slowly for the camera's purposes.
Not that I want to necessarily get off on bitching about the remake, but that was my problem with the remake.
Yeah.
It didn't get the point. The point is that these people are fucking cattle to this family. And in the remake, they're treating them like they're people. That makes no sense to me. The whole point of the movie is to treat them like they're nothing. That's what's terrifying and fucked up. Don't treat them like they're people, because then why are you doing it?
Again,
weird.
I'm okay with the remake, but again, if you give me the choice, 10 times out of 10, I'm going to be watching this.
In a minute, I'll explain to you why, when the exact moment I lose complete interest in the remake, but we'll get there in a second.
So
because my favorite shot is coming up right now.
Kirk hasn't shown up.
She calls for Kirk, she stopped hearing him, basically. So she's like, Kirk?
And the only real gratuitous shot in the entire film happens here.
And I wouldn't even call it gratuitous. This is actually one of the most famous shots in horror film history.
Yeah.
Is her and the undershot walking toward the house. It's not meant to be sexual.
No.
It's meant to show how small she is compared to the house.
But you know what I mean, right?
It's a sexy girl wearing next to nothing,
I mean.
walking in, and walking and you're shooting her from behind. She looks phenomenal. I ain't gonna lie about that. But the idea behind it is supposed to show, how small
Plus, it's a wonderful shot because it's just like it makes the house look like it's twice, 3 times the size it actually is.
It's just a beautiful,
and it's just a
shot.
1-story house. She comes into the
2-story house.
2-story house. She comes into the house. No Kirk.
Yep, just Kurt, and then she goes in because that's what you do. You walk into strangers' houses when your man has disappeared. That's what you do in horror films.
So she stumbles into a room that is covered in chicken feathers. Chicken bones.
Yes.
A chicken in a cage.
Yep.
And what looks
human
like...
bones. There's feet. There's definitely a foot.
There's foot, there's a hand. And a couch.
Yep. That
is built from human, animal, bones, human skin. I guess what we don't realize is human skin. Maybe we guess we do at this point.
No, we do, because I believe we see a face on a lampshade.
Yeah.
Because I think there's 2 shots of that.
The shot is beautiful. Magnificent. Of just using this natural lighting of the sun shining through this couch in in all its glory, I guess, lack of a better term. And just no music in the background, just this ominous
animal sounds, as I mentioned earlier. There's no music.
And the look of her just being absolutely horrified.
She
what the fuck is any of this?
Thing
it's
is
more confusion, I guess.
Yeah, she doesn't react right away.
Because she's just
taking it all in.
Feathers, because you wouldn't be horrified, because you'd be like, what the fuck
am I looking at? She doesn't freak out until, pretty much we get a good shot of everything. Yeah. Then she freaks out. It's almost like, the movie's back on.
And then Leatherface!
And then Leatherface fucking pops in. She bolts for the door like the only smart person in the history of horror films. But Leatherface grabs a hold of her in a beautiful shot where she's just fucking kicking her legs out, grabs a hold of her, slams her back in, and she can't do a damn thing, and he pulls her in. This is one of the greatest, if not possibly my favorite horror film moment ever. He grabs a hold of her, brings her into the kill room, picks her up, and you just puts her on the fucking hook. It is single-handedly one of the greatest moments in horror history.
And it doesn't pierce her chest.
No.
And
Welcome to my complaint, and that's the exact moment.
Because there's a bucket underneath her, and she is bleeding out.
And she's just bleeding out. But
you don't see a fucking thing.
No, because she's just meat.
Plus you see Kirk on the table, who's now been bludgeoned to death at this point. About to be chopped up by Leatherface in front of Pam while she's still alive. With
a chainsaw, which is weird.
With a chainsaw.
I mean, it's in the movie. It's got to make sense. But this is my point with the remake.
That's an
they
indictment.
Sensationalized the shit out of it.
That's an indictment on all those movies.
Agreed.
Because, and you know what? It's not even their fault.
Well, they started it. I would agree with it.
It's the 80s' fault for making the blood and the gore happen.
True.
And then, unfortunately... It went forward into the 90s, into the early 2000s, where no one really wanted to go back and make psychological horror films.
No, that's not true. In the 90s, they did. They did go back and make a handful of, psychological shit.
But that's the problem. A handful.
Yeah.
And I guarantee...
We didn't get any in the 80s.
Here's the unfortunate part.
Yeah.
Those didn't make any money, I guarantee.
That's not true. One of them did.
One.
Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah. Again, you can make an argument that that's more of a thriller, not a horror, but... It's apples and oranges.
I don't know. It's hard to say, but
you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I agree. But that is my biggest point because.
But you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
This specific scene is so sensationalized in the remake that it takes everything away from what these characters are and what they're doing, even in what they've established in that version.
Yeah.
Takes everything away. So I don't understand, and that's literally the point where I'm like, all right, I'm out. And that happens every time.
Because it's not for you.
No, it's really not. It clearly isn't. But that's the point where I realize it's not for me. Is that moment where I'm like, oh, they fucked this up. Okay, never mind, I'm out.
So Jerry, Sally, and Frank are having a conversation in the room where Pam and Kirk are. Jerry goes off to find them.
Yep.
I'll be right back,
Yeah. As because he's coming back.
So he's looking for Pam and Kirk. Sally and Frank are fighting.
Takes him a long fucking time to get to that house.
Yeah, because it's day when he leaves and it's night when he gets there.
It's not quite night yet. It's the sun is set. And I'm like, wow, that's some fucking time.
So he gets into the house. And I guess he sees what's remaining of Kirk on the table.
Yeah.
And he's hearing this noise.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He's hearing this noise. This
Mm-hmm.
Here's the freezer shake a little, the lock on the shake, 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 shake.